Yeah, how's it going? I wanted to show you some advanced prompting, a communication tool. Part of the reason I wanted to do this is just to see how people respond to some of these prompts and things I create that are freaking awesome, and nobody sees them. So I thought, well, let's show people this communication tool. And I have one of these that I put together for more dating and flirting and attraction, that kind of stuff. And then I took that model and I said, you know what? I want to do this for regular communication, everything except for dating, because that one's encoded with a lot of principles that do pass over into normal relationships, but was very specific to flirting, and it's going to always kind of stay in that mode, I think. So I created another one. It still follows the same attraction principles. So if you were in business, if it's family member, rather than me trying to go over all the things it does, I just pasted the prompt. This is just a beginning prompt. I may switch over to the one I'm actually got some actual people in it, because that's what's so cool about this. You put people in it, and especially if you, what I did is I copied all the text messages from other people I communicate with, and I pasted it, and it builds a whole profile around things that work, things that don't work. It does the sentiment analysis, and so um, and it learns over time too. This is the thing, because what it'll do, and I'll show you. I'll give you three options, and you choose one, and you say which one you chose, or you say I like this one, but I'm going to change it to that, and it will learn as you go, and it keeps not only your style, like you're going to want to train it to not be so GPT, but your style for that person, right? Because you don't communicate to mom like you communicate to a business partner, unless your mom's your business partner. But so rather than doing the instructions on this, I'm reading the instruction. I'm just going to say, what are the, is it the benefits? Let's go benefits of this system. So I want rather than me thinking and telling everybody like what I remember what it does. Let's just review what ChatGPT says it does. Overthinking, that's the biggest one. I I don't know how many of you, and probably every single one of you, like you get a text, and you're like, how do I respond to this? Sometimes it's worded strange. Sometimes there's two questions at the same time. Sometimes you're not sure if you want to. There's lots of these questions, and so we don't reply at all. Or what I do is I voice text, because then I don't have to think through like, how do I word this right so it doesn't get taken out of context. Because that's the problem, context. Like sometimes humor and sarcasm just won't carry over, right? So yeah, so you can read these and pause if you want to. Aiva is the AI that runs our systems in our phone and communicates with Chat GPT. Um, I can talk more about that. Well, if you've seen any of my content, you probably know what that is. But so yeah, it cuts out the need for over explaining or chasing energy. So it's got this like programmed in to help communicate behind the scenes without you having to understand everything. Um, so let's see. It's adaptive across all relationships, right? So business, friends, family. Just a one simple. I could have made these into their own prompts, but I just chose to keep them together, minus the flirting one, because that one's got an added layer of training based on polarity and male and female nature, that kind of stuff. So let's see. Oh, this is great. It keeps a living log of every contact, a memory, tone, inside jokes, past wins, and context. And you can always bring up their profile. Maybe I'll bring up a profile so you can see what I mean. So it's keeping the memory. It keeps a conversational bank. So it remembers some things that were talked about, or things that were important or significant things. Um, like for example, um, I pasted all of my conversations with my ex-wife in there, and it said, "Oh, high points, communication about the kids, and uh, talking about business and whatever." We got two or three things where it was a highlight, and I can even show you that profile. It's still, they're so revealing too. Like I was like, oh, I'll show you her profile, but I don't want to show some things that I wouldn't want to say. Like it'll give me little warnings like, don't spend too much time talking about complicated things. Keep it simple. I mean, we don't have any problems, but it's still got this context where, hey, this is an ex-wife. Don't be whatever, right? Keep it clean, keep it business-like, you know. Okay, so the living log, I think that's great because you have your history, but and you get lost in the weeds real quick with that. So this is really fascinating. An energy ladder or a flow control. So this prevents premature escalation to a business pitch or um, getting into a deep talk too fast. In the case of dating, this would be maybe reaching out too soon. Like it's built to manage the progression of a relationship, whatever kind that is, which is brilliant that you can use AI to do these kinds of things. Okay, so let's keep going. Frame and presence. So um, it will maintain confident tone. So if somebody says something that's, I don't know, controversial, or at least something that needs to be talked about, it will help. It's programmed to do this so that you don't come off too weak, right? You can see how this might have come out of a dating conversational prompt. So like right here, protects from over defensiveness or over explaining or approval seeking. Because these things we naturally kind of fall into. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Let me fix this for you. It's just a nature to us, and it sometimes comes off weak and will stop a progression of a relationship or a business because some of these weaknesses can actually show up without people really knowing, right? Okay, let's keep going. Positions you as a steady, self-led, and attractive in any context. This might need to be slightly reprogrammed for different people. You know, probably not. Maybe it's different for men and women. Like you maybe want to have I don't know. Because here's the thing: it does learn as you go anyway. So let's keep going. Look at all these benefits. It's huge. Practical workflow. Oh yeah. So this is just basically saying you paste it in. It asks you to create logs, and it just repeats and builds momentum. So um, it's easy to you paste it, you answer the questions. Well, you don't even answer the questions. You paste or copy or screen share a conversation, paste it in. I'll give it a shot. Okay. Scalable skill building. Over time, you train presence, clarity, and influence. The system reinforces good habits and it becomes second nature. I found that when I started using this, I was looking for people because I don't do a lot of texting and messaging generally. I just don't. I'd rather just get together. But I wanted to start more communications. I wanted to find people to sell to. I wanted to like start conversations and try this out. In fact, if anybody wants to do some experimenting, like I would love to build a profile and chat just because I want to test its capabilities. I already know it works. It's not like I need to see if it's functional. So let's see. In short, the system makes you more efficient, emotional, intelligent, and influential in every relationship while preserving authenticity. Do you want me to show you how this system would play out in real time? Why don't we do that? Well, let me do it. Let's do it. Let's go like this. I have another chat that let's see. No, that's the flirting one. I don't want to get into that yet. This one's going to be in personal. You're going to see all my stuff. Because I was pulling in masculinity into this training for all you guys, especially on the flirting one. Maintaining frame, which is important in every relationship. Okay, so this is where I've last used it. Let me make sure there's nothing private in here. Okay, good. Now what we'll do a real one if I can do a screen share while we're recording. This is my business partner. He gave me some news. I've actually already been communicating with him. So I screenshotted it. I could have copied and pasted it. In this case though, I screenshotted it. I'm not even gonna let the full text in. Let's see how good it is on figuring out, because when I screenshot, I didn't have the full message. We're gonna say I'm gonna attach it. Now it should know it's Adam right away. If it's not, I would say, hey, this is Adam. Let's go ahead and Just there it is. Just in case it doesn't say Adam, I'm going to let it know because there's a profile, right? Let's do this. Okay. Isn't it beautiful up here? In every direction. Where are you? Wouldn't you like to know? Just kidding. Okay. Okay, so here it is. Thanks for sharing this thread with Adam. He's clearly hyped about the success of the conference and the momentum he's creating. Here's a 3-part copy ready you can use depending on the tone. It's had a little bit of training on Adam. I usually don't need it. I usually talk to him on the phone, but let's look at this. Professional and practical. That's huge, Adam. 12 seats solid from 20 churches is solid. Training angle clearly works. Let's keep leaning in this. That one's great. Let's look at this other one. Love it, man. And it knows it knows it's a friend. It wouldn't use man if it didn't already have a profile to know that that would work. Like it's not going to throw man or bro. It's not a man or a bro in your context of the relationship. Love it, man. Blowing minds at the scale is next level. Feels like the momentum is really kicking in. Excited to see where you take this angle. A little bit out of context. Not a lot, but it does. GPT's not realizing how much I communicate with Adam. It's like, oh, I'd love to see what your next step is. No, we're going to be making next steps. Like, so I wouldn't say number 2, but I might copy number 2 and say, feels like this is really kicking in. I'm excited to talk to you about the direction we're going to go with this, which is going to be educating groups. Let's do this other one. Visionary. Exactly that. Oh, and it has 3 different styles. And these 3 different styles right here, you're seeing leader, relational. That's because he's a business partner. It wouldn't say leader's edge and visionary decisive tone if I was talking to my mom, right? So here's one. So leader's edge. Exactly. That's the trainer's approach, scale fast. If we package this right, it becomes the playbook for multiplying results across all future conferences. I would say that other than in the context, he's telling me about this, and I'd be jumping in a little quick with it, with assuming I know more information than I do. And really where I'm at now, I need to wait and hear more before suggesting things. But I could say that. I could be like, hey, you know what? I like number 3 except for blank, and then it would rewrite. So what I'll do is you would just copy it. And that's another cool thing. You got these copy windows, and I can paste it right in. And then I would say, in the chat, I would just say, I use number 1, or just put number 1, and it'll record it. Now, I'm not doing that because I already did this conversation. But hope this isn't too private for Adam. Show Adam's profile. You're going to see all of these things that I was talking about. Whoops. In his profile. It's kind of like a little sort of a SMS or whatever. I mean, you could do email too, but like it's almost like a CRM in a way. You know, it doesn't have a pipeline, but if I wanted a little pipeline, I could say, hey, let's create a 3 or 4 step pipeline for every profile. And what we have here is a ladder that's being built. So that essentially is a pipeline. So let's see. Business partner and close collaborator at Smart Optimized in Aiva. He's highly visionary, fast moving, thrives in momentum, often blends business, spiritual seeking with his son, and friendship. Interesting. The sun got bright. There's obviously some chats, which could be about some other things we do. It's a business and friend. Business friend secondary, I guess. I mean, he's a friend business too. But we started with business. So the tone, visionary, energetic, collaborative, loves when others recognize his momentum, responds well with encouragement, future focused framing, and clear action steps. Perfect. That is Adam. Comfort zones. Oh, this is interesting. Visionary casting, brainstorming, high energy discussion, tactical problem solving if framed simply. Avoid overloading with technical details. He likes clarity fast. Avoid anything that dampens momentum, and he's hyped. That is 100% accurate. It is the thing that I have to deal with. I have too much of the tech side, and so I confuse and overwhelm really easily. And so I have to reduce it down to something that makes sense. and then it gets even reduced even further down to the salespeople and even further down to the individuals, which is what he was doing in the conference. He's teaching like basic GPT, like what's a prompt, what is AI, like what is natural language programming, like. And so I'm doing stuff like this, and I just jump right into it, and people are like, what the hell are you talking about? It's my curse and my blessing. I can simplify, but I don't live in that world. I live in the complexity. So trigger zones: overly slow or nitpicky conversations, getting bogged down in unnecessary details, lack of acknowledgement when he's flowing. All right, I need to. Well, hopefully I do that. Preferred medium: WhatsApp, SMS, in person. That's in person or phone. And I could modify that. I was like, no, he doesn't really use WhatsApp. I just pulled messages. I could have just said the primary is phone and SMS. Past wins and shared moments. Spirit seeking with Sun. That's a whole nother story. Smart optimized growth with favorite protocols, and conferences and sales wins. Okay. These are past wins. See how it's keeping the shared moments with everybody in here, with every person. Response style: enthusiastic acknowledgement first, and either practical and free enforcement. Visionary scale: here's how he fits into the big picture. Okay, so it knows how he likes to be responded to, right? And it knows how I like to communicate, which is usually less. I try to not say too much on text. Vision, momentum, scale, excitement, and breakthrough. Okay, that's the emotional keywords. Perfect for him. This is the latter. This is the one I'm most fascinated with, and I'd like to test out more, because the default is directive, moves towards peak. So he tends to live in decisive, high energy specs. Now, he and I are always working together, but if you had a salesperson, there would be different steps. The goal is to match his high while grounding next steps in reality. That's as the tech guy, that's what I have to do. I got to make the stuff work. So example response. So if you paste 3, it'll do 3 of those kind. And then, well, this is interesting. Do you want me to also sync Adam's profile with Annie's and others, so you've got one central protocol book where you can see all of them side by side? No, I don't need that. If I wanted to do that, I'd do it in a prompt and say, create this, and just, write it in a format for Google. In fact, with Agent GPT, I can say, email it to somebody. So, geez, I guess that's pretty much it. I think you saw how it works. You see the profiles. You saw how I copied and pasted. You could do that with a copy and paste with text, and you just keep doing that. And at first you might see some responses. You're like, that's way too wordy, and get rid of the emojis, and you're making assumptions, and then it'll be like, okay, and it'll modify. Okay, well, that's it. I just wanted to share. Let me know what you guys think of this. If you like this type of stuff, because I can share these kinds of things forever. And then when we plug it into Chat GPT with Aiva, there's some of the stuff. I tell you what, I get so excited by myself, and if I could if other people were excited about some of the stuff I'm building, then that would be fun for me. So anyway, I'll go ahead and send this now, and yeah, let me know. Because I normally don't. I normally do other generated content, and I haven't been in the habit of showing people what I'm actually doing, and I think I need to do that. So thanks for listening.